Guilty, Houston, 2015. This is the first volume of a new series of games, and the title of the series is Guilty. These can be played solo or cooperative. They're basically mystery games, or I should say they're mystery game books. So what you find in here, although the components are cards, and no, don't worry, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. If you don't want to have any spoilers at all, even, accidentally, well then just close your eyes, or maybe don't look at all. But as I wanted to make the point right away that although the components are cards, this is a game book, meaning that the text on the cards are connected by specific things, meaning you see a certain card and it says you can take that card or that other card. From that other card you can do a different card. It says flip card this or flip card that. The connection between the cards is predetermined, is fixed. And so after reading this card, I may have the option of reading any other of these other cards. It'd be the same as if a game book said from page 18 you can go to 19, 25, 120, 226. All the interconnections are predetermined. You never shuffle the cards because then you just need to put them together and find where they are. And so again, you could simply take the text and put them into a bound box and you would have a game book. No difference whatsoever. Which I'm not saying in any negative way, I just want you to know the kind of game that you are going to maybe purchase if you think that this is interesting. It's a game book that you can play with your friends, just like many game books you can play. Also, you have a player aid here where you can place cards after you read them. There's text on the other side of these cards. After you read them, you put them in the corresponding space. This way you remember where things are. Oh, things connected to this character or this character. You place a card there so you remember what is connected to the chapel or the kitchen. Things like that. I'm not going to show you anything. That's it. So we are in a prison, a high security prison for women, and this young woman, alas, has been murdered, and you have to figure out what happened. There are 4 other female prisoners that you can talk to, and these are some of the main characters, and then you have secondary characters such as the jail guards that you can interact with the coroner, with other experts, and most importantly, with journalists. You start your investigation at 10 p.m. and different actions will cause you to discard the cards from this deck. Different from what I'm doing though, when you discard them, you also flip them because there will be events that are unlocked as you discard them. And again, I don't want to spoil things for you, so I'm not going to show you what those events are. There are things that will place other special events, specific events in the deck at different times. And so you have a timer. Until the following morning, until 11 a.m. of the following morning, where there's going to be a press conference. This is not a spoiler because you know from the rulebook that that's what's going to happen. And at the press conference, you're going to meet this journalist and they will ask you questions. I'm not even going to show you the questions that they're going to ask you. Just try to figure out what happened, who murdered her, and what else is going on. Also try to imagine what will the journalist want to know. Depending on the answers that you give them, you will score a certain amount of points. The amount of points that you score will lead to 1 or 3 conclusions, and that's the idea. So you will probably play through the deck only once because although you're not gonna get to read every card, it's a fairly generous timer. Maybe you want to make it, if you want to make it more challenging, you start with fewer cards, but you're gonna read a lot of these cards, and I don't think that there's gonna be much joy in going through the deck trying to optimize and once you know the solutions, you know the solutions. So it's a one-time game. Again, you can play cooperative, which probably take a lot longer because then people are discussing, or I played it solo, and solo was about 2 hours. And I found the difficulty was pretty much about right, in the sense that I discovered enough things and actually I was able to get the absolute bare minimum for a positive ending. And again, due to the nature of the game, I can't I'll try again and see if I can do better, because now I know what are the things that I missed. There's no way for the game to tell me how many got right, how many got wrong, without telling me what things are, and that is the nature, of course, of the analog of an analog game. A digital game could conceal that better. So, production values, pretty nice. You look at the illustrations, I find them to be pretty nice, and so are the illustrations here. But ultimately, this is the case. Again, you're gonna see a lot of text, and I would say, yeah, many of these texts on the other side of the page pretty much correspond to a page in a novel in terms of how much text you have, how much information. And it is dense. Yes, there is a lot of information, there's a lot of detail, which to me really pays off. I played the mystery games where, you know, there's a single thing that doesn't work, a single clue that you may see or not see. But here there really is a thick interweaving of stories or characters or clues and different things that you can figure out leading to different scores, and it really pays off to take notes and pay attention and see all the little details and think of this as a real mystery. I would say even as a real slice of life. So what I can tell you is that this game is a lot more detailed and in-depth and three-dimensional, I would say, than almost any other mystery game that I played before, including games such as the Sherlock Holmes the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective System, which I like very much. But this is a really unusual high level of storytelling, of depth and complexity of the story. And it's, again, that's what the game is about. It's about the story, it's about talking to these people, talking to various experts, examining the environments, picking up different things, and making phone calls, etc., etc., etc. And there's also an envelope, and that's, and I'm not going to tell you anything other than, oh, there's an envelope. There it is. It's good. I really enjoyed it. On the other side, you're going to have the side that you're going to use for the press conference. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I found it very compelling. Now, something else that is also unusual is also the level of the description of violence, the realism. So it's about, there's going to be reference to drugs, sex, strong passions, more violence, blood, etc., etc., etc. It's extremely brutal and realistic. It also shows how, well, now a lot of tabletop gaming is aimed directly at adults, and this is precisely one such game. I would not recommend it to anybody under age of 18, and I think they also says that on the box. However, then you got teenagers who play GTA, and so I don't know. The different mileage, different families, different groups may have different views. But be warned that there is indeed a degree of realism, brutality, violence, and drug references that is unused in like any pretty much analog tabletop board game or game book that I've seen before. So, Guilty. I enjoyed this mystery quite a bit, really. I got into it, again, in a way that is rare to do outside of novels or outside of a movie that really draws you in. It is ultimately a game book in the card format, but it's detailed, it's immersive, the story is heavy, but also, again, very engrossing. And the mystery is one that is rewarding. It's rewarding to putting in the effort and taking the time to try to solve it. It's a fair mystery. It's a good one. I definitely enjoy playing this first volume of Guilty, and I hope that I'll get to try more in the future.